And I just want to say,
Yes.
as a makeup artist, it should not be your goal to be friends with actors.
I like that. Yes.
Like that's gross and icky. It's like a natural thing that happens over time. Like you're either gonna vibe with somebody or you're not. And these things just happen. You're not like sitting there trying to ask all these personal questions and become best friends with everybody. Like, if you sit in my chair, Carlos, and you're like, how was your weekend? I'm going to tell you how my weekend is and everything like that. And it starts like that, but you're not like, so how are you? Like, like asking all of these questions, because what's so important is an actor, when they get in the chair, a lot of times they're there and they're running through their emotions or getting in the place that they need to get in this right space. And so they're not there to be friends with you.
Yes.
You're there to help them get into character and be the person that they're going to be.
To the Top is brought to you by our friends, the Realty Medics. Whether you're buying, selling, or investing in properties, allow the Realty Medics to be your stockbroker for real estate. Check them out at therealtymedics.com.
Hello and welcome to another edition of To the Top. I'm your host, Carlos Alberto Navarro. To the Top is a show that makes you think, makes you laugh, whatever it may be. And today is a wonderful day. It's a wonderful day to do a show with a professional, with an artist, with somebody who is at the top of their game, somebody who's worked with and worked on some of the coolest and most famous people you've probably ever heard of. And I happen to call her a friend as well. And it's good to see her again. Ladies and gentlemen, I would like to introduce you to Tracy Swiatly, makeup artist extraordinaire. How are you doing, Tracy?
I'm good. How are you?
Doing great. I'm so glad you were able to make time to be here, because I'm sure like me, I get a lot of people who are like, oh, I'm interested in acting, or I'm interested in entertainment. You being a makeup artist, and is makeup artist like the proper term? I know you do so many different things, but do you get a lot of people asking you, hey, how do I become a makeup artist? I like makeup. How do I get into it?
I do. Yeah, no, I do. Which is cool. And I think everybody has their own story, but I think a lot of people think and I think it's the same with acting, there's a path and you got to get on the path and know those people and then you're in. And that's not necessarily what happened. So, yeah.
That's never the case. What were you doing? So, for those who are wondering, you are one of the main makeup artists on The Walking Dead, as well as a bunch of other productions. I know you finished last year with Zombieland 2, as well as other TV shows, and very, very talented. And how did you initially get into it? I think I remember, but I want the audience to know, how did you even begin to become a makeup artist?
Well, it started, way back in high school. I used to be a dancer and an actress, and I was in the thespian club, and I did all the stuff. And I was a hip hop and break dancer, which is yeah. So I was just always around performing and everything, and I was so sure that's what I wanted to do. Got injured, couldn't dance anymore, and so then I went to college, and I was an acting major. And if you're a part of a whole fine arts program, you have to take stagecraft and costuming and all the things. And I had to do a stage makeup class, because when you're doing makeup for theater, most of the time you're doing your own makeup. Mm-hmm. And that was the first time I ever even tried. I did quick little hye school kid makeup on myself.
Yeah.
But,
did you do it for your friends? I know dancers, you usually sit in a room and you're about to go out. You weren't the makeup girl for the dancers?
I wasn't. There was maybe a couple of times I did a weird, terrible old age makeup in theater for community theater class or something like that. But just lines on faces.
You're gonna be 100 years old. Here's some mascara on your forehead.
Exactly. But that was really it. And I was in the stage makeup class, and I was also drawing for the first time, because I never even tried. I was so busy with dance and theater that I wasn't like taking art classes or anything like that in high school. And I could strangely draw. I didn't know I had that talent.
Really? That's interesting, because I always drew a little bit and I always liked it, but you never just doodled and kind of messed around?
Not really. I mean, I like, you know, I was in high school in like the 2000s, so we did like the graffiti block letters.
The diamond.
I could do that.
Yeah.
Yeah. My last name starts with an S, so I did like that diamond thing with the Joker hat, and I was like, I got it. Yeah. So I did that, but that was it. And my professor who taught the stage makeup class was like, you should really think about this. Like, you have a talent.
Wow.
And I was like, oh, okay. And I really liked doing it. I was doing like Starry Night on my face and doing all kinds of really fun, interesting things. And I fell in love with it. And then there was no stage makeup major. But
real quick though, Tracy, let me ask you this, because I like to highlight things, especially on this podcast, is like, you did something there that a lot of people maybe wouldn't do. They got their mindset on acting. They got their mindset on this, and like, no, I'm acting. You know, and good for you for being like, okay. It wasn't like you abandoned acting at that point, but it was like, wow, I need to listen to these people that are telling me I have this talent, that also have that talent. And a lot of times people don't do that, and they miss opportunities, because usually your passion is going to be this amalgamation of different interests and things, and then you find your career. So good for you. There might be somebody listening right now that may come to a crossroad, and it could benefit them just like it did for you. So good for you. And so you're going, okay, so when did you go, all right, I'm going full blown makeup. I'm not gonna go act?
Well, so, I mean, kind of to go on that, I was really fortunate because I went to a school where all of my teachers and professors were like actual working professionals. They weren't just teachers.
Shout out your school. What school was it?
Illinois State University.
Oh.
And my professor was Lauren Lowell.
Shout out!
Is the jam, and she still talks to me sometimes through Facebook Messenger now. So
I bet she's proud. Yeah. I bet she's very proud.
Yeah, no, she is. It's really cool. But I don't know, you know, I was like the best actress in my like little high school, but then when I got into like the real world, and I was like, oh, I like maybe I really like was able to look at myself and be like, maybe I'm not the best actress. Here.
Wow. That says a lot about you to have that realization, because like I do remember you talking about you being an actor and stuff, but like that's also must have been tough to let that go, because I didn't get into acting until my 20s. I was actually in production first, and then I got into acting, and a similar thing. Somebody was like, no, I took an acting class. They're like, hey, you're good at this. Like, you need to do it. I'm like, all right, whatever. Maybe I'll be in a commercial or something. So it was a little reverse for me. Was it difficult to let go of it?
It wasn't, because that wasn't like dancing was my first passion.
Okay.
And so it was like, all right, I can't dance anymore. So at 18, at 17, really, I felt like I had already like gone through that heartbreak of like, because, you know, when you're 17, you like know what you're going to do for the rest of your life. And you're like, I got it. And so it was like my whole future had just been blown up, and I felt crazy about it. But so it didn't feel that crazy, because it wasn't like, it just felt like the thing that I wanted to do now.
That's great.
I guess. Yeah. And then getting all that feedback and really liking it, and I didn't have to memorize all these lines. That felt really good too. So yeah, my professors and stuff just started doing like all these different classes where I would take like a costume design class, because that was like the class that was actually offered. And then I would take an elective where I built a hair and makeup design to my costume design. Prosthetic electives, like things like that. And so my real education was in like film critique because that was like the major that you needed the least amount of credits for. And so I could take all these other electives. And so that's what I did. And then I was designing the makeup and the wigs for all the shows that my college put on.
Wow.
And and so I had a portfolio.
Yeah.
And then I moved to Atlanta, and because I had a boyfriend, but whatever.
Ooh.
And I moved here to Atlanta, and I was working in cosmetic counters, which I feel like a lot of makeup artists, beauty makeup artists, end up doing for some reason. Sure.
Didn't you work at was it MAC?
No, I worked at Bobbi Brown first.
Oh.
Bobbi Brown, yeah.
Oh, okay.
I never actually worked for MAC. That's like the one that I didn't go to. But and so I was working at cosmetic counters, which is honestly great practice because every single face that you could ever imagine, old, young, different races, different colors, everything sits in your chair. So you can try everything on everybody, which is pretty great.
That's another good thing for you right there, Tracy. A lot of people are like, no, I have to go work in production immediately. I have to be in a movie. But you're like, no, let's get this practice in with real people that are going to tell you how they feel. And then when you get on a set, when you're working on some famous ass person and they're like, you're not going to be nervous because you're like, I've looked at thousands of faces. This is nothing. Yeah. Good for you. That's great. So where was that shift? Where did that happen where you made that leap into TV and film? Yeah. So a client of mine that would come to the Bobbi Brown counter, her name's Aida Scuffle. What? She was like buying makeup that was obviously not for her. And so I was just asking her what she was buying stuff for. And she worked for the Atlanta Opera. And she told me all about that. And so I brought my portfolio to work and I kept it in my cubby and waited for her to show up again. Smart. That's so smart. Capitalize on the opportunities that are in front of you. Good for you.
Yeah.
Good.
You gotta jump on it. You have to. I mean, if that's the one thing I could say is always keep your eyes open for the opportunity, and you have to grab it. You have to.
No doubt.
And so she came up again and I was like, look, here's my portfolio. See all the things that I did?
Yeah.
And then I started doing, it was actually also the opera Aida. And I was drawing, Egyptian eyeliner and eyebrows on a bunch of chorus dudes. And that was like my first professional got paid job.
And you're like, I made it. I did.
Yeah. And it was theater, so it was like pennies, but it was great.
Wow.
It was fun. And then it was during the time when everything was starting to boom in Atlanta. And so a lot of the wig and makeup people in theater were starting to jump into the hair and makeup in film and production. And I just kept meeting like this person, introduced me to this person, and I was working at Macy's as like a manager, and I got an opportunity, and this woman, her name is Essie, she brought me on to Walking Dead to just day play and help. And
were you a fan of the show? Were you a fan of Walking Dead? Or
I was. I watched it.
Yeah.
It was season 6.
Yeah, because I was season 7. Because I remember, obviously, we're friends, so we talked a lot. And one thing people don't understand, when you're on a set, it's this very intimate place. There's no outsiders. It's like a summer camp, if you will. Like everybody knows each other, and it's everybody's happy. Most of the time, everybody's happy because you're doing this really cool thing. And so I knew that you had, because you told me, hey, this is my second season. I was my first season. I'm like, woo,
Yeah,
so
we were beds.
Yeah, we were kind of like, you were more, veteran there, but me and Kari and Cooper and the whole Kingdom cast, we were all kind of on the same time. So it was very exciting. Yeah. So I think you came full time on season 7, right?
It was half of season 6.
Okay.
And then, yeah. So I was there a half a season full time more than you. I mean, yeah. So we were all like Yeah, we really like all kind of like snapped together and became cool. Yeah.
Yeah. So now we're at, is it season 11 of the show?
We finished season 10.
Okay.
We're hoping to, start season 11 soon.
Yeah. So,
yeah.
So for all the Walking Dead fans that are watching and listening, obviously on iHeart, on Spotify, on iTunes, on YouTube, wherever, all the places. There's so many damn places. What happened? I mean, I know just from talking to Coop and Kari, but so how did COVID affect the Walking Dead production?
Well, I mean, COVID in March shut every production down, everything. I mean, I had a pilot I was going to work on right before we started Walking Dead, and it was the middle of March, and it was just like one show after another. And again, it's a family, so all of us makeup artists and hair people were all like, "Did you get shut down? Are you shut down yet? Like, what's going on?" And it was just one thing after another, and emails coming out telling us that we want to get started again, but we don't know when. And it was all very like TBD. Yeah.
It was weird when it all started coming down, as you know, because you're like, okay, well, we'll get back up started probably in July, or actually, we thought way sooner than that. It was like, oh, we'll take a couple months off for this whole pandemic thing. Dun, dun, dun. Everything will be fine. We'll move forward. Of course. Here we are. You're based out of Georgia. The show shoots out of Georgia. I'm based out of Florida. I don't think we could be in worse states when it comes to COVID.
The worst.
Maybe Texas is up there, but as far as productions for me, I had a commercial campaign. I had a movie. Gone. Now, luckily, as you know, I got my radio gig. I got other things that I do, which I'm very thankful for.
Yeah.
But, it's frustrating. Like, I'm looking at castings now that only say accepting Georgia actors only. They don't want anybody crossing state lines, and being in Florida where there's no TV or film really, it's mostly commercials. It's like, I pretty much haven't seen or done anything in a long time. Have you worked on anything in the midst of this COVID, pandemic?
I did one photo shoot for like somebody who's a friend of mine for her like photo shoot for a maternity thing.
Yeah.
And that was it. That's all I've done.
Damn, how are you feeling right now with everything? We're all a little worried with the industry. We don't know when it's going to come. Do you see some of these movies just got pushed back to 2023? 2023, that scares the shit out of me because, the studios hire epidemiologists and scientists to say, hey, give us a real unbiased report on to when you think things will get forward. And when you see Top Gun 2 is coming out in 2023 and Jurassic World is coming out, I'm like, now a couple friends of mine have done some TV shows. They're like these docu-series shows, and it's a different world on set now. And that's a big reason I wanted to talk to you about it. I mean, so many people don't understand. Tracy has been up in my face and not kissing me, okay, obviously, but this close to me so many times, and every actor you can think of Walking Dead, it is so intimate. It is so, the COVID would breed on a set like no other. So, and that's what makes these productions, that's why The Walking Dead has been so successful, because it is this really tight-knit group of people that loves what they do. But that has to change now. How do you, as a makeup artist, have you been receiving information? Have you been talking to people? Where do you stand with everything going on?
We'll get back to the podcast in just 1 second, but are you freaking out right now because you either have to buy a piece of property, you have to sell your home? Well, the Realty Medics are right there for you. Like a good coach, like a good friend. Tommy and his team are so amazing at the Realty Medics. I have bought homes with Tommy. He's a good friend of mine, and he's somebody that you can trust. There's a lot of shiesty people out there that just want to make a quick buck on your home. They don't care about the deal. That's not Tommy and his team at The Realty Medics. Check them out at therealtymedics.com. And if you support To The Top, support the main sponsor who's been with us the entire time. And Tommy is there for you. I've sent him so many people, and they write me back and go, oh my gosh, Tommy and his team are amazing through and through and through. If you want to give him a call, it's 321-947-7653. And they do so much with real estate. They're literally like your stockbroker for real estate. So contact him as well, Tommy at therealtymedics.com, and say you heard it on To The Top, and they will take care of you because they are first class. Let's get back to the podcast.
Well, first of all, let me say that I'm very fortunate to be a person who works full time on a show.
Right.
Because if you don't know, there are hundreds of amazingly talented makeup artists and hairstylists, and they do what we call day play, where they come in and they help with like big background days and stuff like that. And that's not going to happen right away. So there are hundreds of people who are in a worse situation than I am. And I always try and be very grateful for the fact that I have a job that I know will start.
Right.
You know? Yeah. But with that being said, it's, they've been vocal with us. They talk to us about, like where they are. We get updates. We know that there's new guidelines. There's a whole new like category of people who are like going to be like a COVID manager and stuff like that will be making sure that we're being socially distanced and wearing our masks, because that works.
It works. It works.
Some
people are saying it doesn't work. People are saying, yes, it works. Just wear. I got a Walking Dead mask. I like wearing it. I got this mask. I don't care. At this point, I don't care. I don't care. So, when I think of it, makeup brushes. When I think of it, and you would always keep things separate, things like, chapstick. I don't know. I'm shooting off the top of my head here, but I remember at times you would have different pouches for people, and my makeup or Kari's makeup or Coop's, but I feel like that'll be triple now, like in a weird sense.
Yeah. So first of all, let me say that hair and makeup people are already like hygienic freaks about stuff. I mean, I've worked with actors who are very sick, and I've not gotten sick, and nobody else that has sat in my chair has gotten sick, because I'm like a cleaning machine. And I know that sometimes not everybody is, and that's really bad, but I'm kind of a psycho about it.
Good.
So,
that's good. Yeah.
Thank you so much for checking out The Monsters on YouTube. Now, if you want to watch the rest of this video, just click on the link in the description and head on over to the To The Top YouTube page. Make sure to subscribe. And if you want to hear the podcast, you can find that on the iHeartRadio app, iTunes, anywhere you hear podcasts. You can find the To The Top Never Stop podcast. The links are also below in the description of this video. Today